To guarantee that kundalini is permanently awakened, 5 phenomena have to be present. And if you look at any system designed to open kundalini around the world, any system that works, if you look at any cases of spontaneous kundalini awakening that had lasting and permanent effects on the individuals involved, you will see that at least 3 or 4 of these phenomena are typically present. The first is increased vital energy in the lower abdomen and the pelvis, or increased vital energy in the entire body, but it must include the lower abdomen and the pelvis. By vital energy, we mean prana, chi, vital breath. In biological terms, it means that there's usually increased intra-abdominal pressure from long, deep abdominal breathing. Energy is being stored in the coil of the intestines, and in the subtle body, it's being stored in the dantian, or the area of the khanda, using Sanskrit terminology. The second phenomena is that there must be amplified emotion. That means that kundalini almost never is aroused purely by the presence of physicalized energy or subtle energy. There must also be some emotional content, and usually profoundly aroused emotional content. That can mean things on many levels. There are certainly cases of spontaneous kundalini awakening from the survival mechanism, from fight or flight response, from fear, from anger. And there are even techniques, historical techniques, that use those particular emotions. But it can also be opened by extremes of devotion. And there are many cases of saints going through the kundalini because of this, in many different traditions: Catholic, Hindu, Buddhist, Sufi, etc. In addition, opening of compassion, opening of sexual chemistry, sexual love, romantic love, profound filial love. Sometimes parents actually go through kundalini kriyas when they're actually watching their firstborn being delivered, or just after the delivery. So any profound opening of emotion, devotion, awe, wonder, love, joy, happiness, release, fear, any of these things can open up this state. Now, you can choose whether you want to use destructive emotions, painful emotions, or ones that are uplifting. The third phenomena that must be present is something must draw this energy into the central column within the body, the central channel. In biological terms, the energy must be drawn into the vagus nerves, and the vagus nerves must become aroused. The vagus nerves are cranial nerves that descend from the brain down through the throat, in front of the spine, not through the spine, down through the various internal organs and down to the reproductive organs. They link all of these things without actually needing the use of the spinal nerves. If you look at the curvature of the human spine naturally curves in the lumbar area and goes deep into the core of the body, and then it curves back out in the thoracic area behind your shoulder blades. That region, it actually moves away from the central line, out behind the head in some cases, depending on the degree of curvature. If you simply follow the spine upwards and wake up the spine, as some of the older texts more or less roughly described kundalini moving, if you just follow the spine upwards, the energy will move through what Chinese medicine calls the governing vessel, and what the Hindus call Arohan and Awarohan nadis, the front and back channels. But it won't necessarily actually go through the center of the nerve and endocrine plexuses and through the center of the chakras. So it's very important to actually do something that moves your awareness, the breath, and the kundalini energy. So both the vital energy, prana or chi, and also the kundalini energy, the shakti, through the center of the body. Now, there's various ways that this can happen. It can happen naturally if someone is transfixed, if their gaze is completely focused on one object and unmoving. So in many cases of saints practicing devotional prayer or devotional practices, they naturally are in this state, either focusing on a candle flame or on a representation of the holy word or on an icon. You can also focus directly on the kinesthetic experience of this central channel within the body, actually feeling those areas within the body, moving upwards from bottom to top. You can also do visualizations of the chakras, etc. So there's many different ways of getting the nervous system in this central column to become more alive and awake. If the gaze is transfixed, the eyes are transfixed on something, and there is heightened emotion, and there is deep breathing, the nervous system naturally starts to pull things into both the central nervous system and into the vagus nerves. And those areas become more awake. The blood flow in that central region becomes more alive. Capillary blood flow, capillary circulation through the internal organs becomes more alive, etc. So this must happen on some level, whether it's intentional or unintentional, in order for Kundalini to truly create the process of changes and new neural networks and the reorganization of the subtle body, or the awakening, the full awakening of the subtle body. Otherwise, the kriyas, or movements of Kundalini energy, can simply move through various parts of the nervous system and make muscles twitch and such, but it won't necessarily create a lasting and permanent change beyond the areas in the lower abdomen where the spine is central to the body, down in the lumbar area. So that's 3.